Hey everyone, it's Lulu here, otherwise known as LumenFox. Um, Today we're going to be playing some Baldur's Gate 3. I know I uploaded a couple of videos of Terraria already onto the channel. Um, I want to have a couple different series going for different and I can alternate back and forth to kind of have a bit of variety until we can really find a spot that fits us. So, alright. We're going to be starting with a new game. Um, Not going to be doing For Honor. Um, I There's still some fights I have problems with, even unbalanced. Honestly, if I wanted to take the time, I probably would go through and set up a custom difficulty that's in between balanced and tactician. Me and a friend of mine are actually doing that in a separate playthrough, but I'll be quiet for the moment. I will be skipping one part of this cutscene, just for my own and everyone else's sake. Okay, that got a little further than I wanted to, but uh, let let's not reset the tutorials. Okay, so today we'll be customizing our characters. I skipped part of that cutscene because it goes into the tadpole like doing stuff with people's eyes. I know that's not everyone's forte. It's not mine. I have to. I normally have to skip the. I don't have so much of a problem when they do it to the other character, but when they do it, the scene where it like goes at the screen, that's a bit much for me. So I completely understand that. Um, we are going to be doing a Dark Urge playthrough because as much as I do enjoy doing like a TAV and just kind of experiencing the game in a kind of generic way, Dark Urge has a lot of good story stuff to it as well, and a lot of good unique to Dark Urge story options. Um, so it's so that's what I'm going to be doing instead. We will not be doing the default Dark Urge though. Um, I like playing as either a tiefling or a drow. In actual D&D, like particularly these two, tiefling and half elf, tend to be my favorites. Um, my only problem with playing half elf in Baldur's Gate 3 is just the sheer amount of elven characters you get. I was talking with a friend the other day, and it comes out to I think like 5 of the 10 characters you can recruit to have with you are elf or half elf, and it's just uh, so the sheer number of elves in the game is just like they feel really overrepresented, especially when we don't have a single halfling companion. We don't have a single gnome companion. We don't have a single dragonborn companion. We don't have a single half-orc companion. We don't have a single dwarf companion. And, like, I think I was talking, like, gnomes do play an important part of certain parts of the story. There is barely any dragonborn characters. I can only think of one character really offhand that's dragonborn. I think there's a couple halflings. There might be one half-orc. It was just like, we meet a lot of Githyankies. There's a number of half-elves. We have the tiefling camp. We have several elves. And of course there's a plethora of humans. There's even a few drow characters mixed in there too. Yeah. But I like the interactions a lot of the tiefling character has with the tieflings very early on. So, well, I kind of a story spoiler that there is a group of tieflings early on, but not, I don't think, really. Now here's the question: which type of tiefling do we want to be? I kind of like going the Zariel tiefling, especially because Baldur's Gate 3 really encourages you to make your character the face of the party. So, thaumaturgy can give you advantage on intimidation checks. So it's really, it's a really useful cantrip. Mage Hand has some good utility outside of combat, of just reaching certain things and doing certain things you otherwise couldn't. But the downside of Mage Hand, kind of the problem I have it, despite it being a cantrip, I think you can only use it once per long rest. Effectively, just rather than being a cantrip, it's just an optional ability for classes that can get it. So, I'm going, Thaumaturgy just seems a lot more applicable. I wanted to do Warlock. I really like Warlock, but if we need a Warlock, we always have Will that we can pick up and use. So playing a Warlock doesn't really add a whole lot. Like, Warlock, Wizard, Rogue, Fighter, Barbarian, and Cleric. There's a lot of, like, especially early on, there's a lot of incentive not to play these classes because you get, those are the classes of the origin characters. So it normally steers me away from them, despite Warlock being one of my favorite classes. But my other problem with playing Warlock, despite it being my favorite class in 5e, is that part of the reason it is my favorite class isn't in Baldur's Gate. One of my favorite things about Warlock is all the different patrons you can choose, and just the variety amongst them. But Baldur's Gate 3 is limited to pretty much just core 5e. So the only subclasses we have are the Fiends, the Great Old One, and the Archfey, when some of my favorite patrons are the Celestial, the Deep One, and the Hexblade. Although Hexblade you can kind of get around because they've reworked Pact of the Blade to feel a lot like just the Hexblade Pact, or the Hexblade patron. So I can kind of understand why they wouldn't want to include that one, despite that being, like, one of the most popular patrons, just because it centralizes so much of your character into your charisma. So it's really good. But I'm thinking either Bard or Sorcerer. Both of them can work out really well. Sorcerer just being a full caster, but kind of having a similar problem to Wizard of Wizards can kind of just be a more versatile sorcerer. But sorcerers actually have, if for a main character, your sorcerer is, can be a party face without having to sacrifice any combat ability. Bard just has a lot of unique dialogue options and is, while still being a spellcaster, the only problem is that they're likely not going to be your damage dealer, but they have such good utility that it kind of doesn't matter. So I think I'm ultimately thinking that we're going to go with Bard. Plus, we can there's plenty of other characters that we can pick up and make our damage dealers that I don't think we need our Dark Urge to be a damage dealer. Okay, we got Vicious Mockery and Blade Ward. Blade Ward, it's a panic button. It's a decent panic button. But, I think taking Friends, since we're not on a higher difficulty where we can potentially get accused of enchanting people, which is normally Friends' problem in base 5e, is that part of its thing is that people fairly quickly after the effect ends realize that you've enchanted them. So it advantage short term, huge issue long term. But lower difficulties of Baldur's Gate 3 don't have that problem, so combined with so when you have Thaumaturgy and Friends, you're really good at talking to people. Also taking Vicious Mockery, just because it adds extra utility to the Bard, and where you can sacrifice a little bit of your damage output to be a bit more protective of your teammates. So then for spells, we're going to be dropping the hair. We're going to pretty much keeping default because these are really good. These other three are really good spells with Healing Word. Healing Word's nice, especially just to have that option to heal and to bring someone back up as a bonus action. Like, for action economy, Healing Word in base 5e is massive, and that does not change in Baldur's Gate. Dissonant Whispers is a strong offense, is like your only damage option as Bard for your first level spells, but it also offers really good utility in frightening a creature on top of dealing damage. Tasha's Hideous Laughter can be good CC, and we will be swapping in Speak with Animals because it's a ritual spell that allows you to, well, it's a ritual spell, so you can use it without consuming a spell slot as long as you're doing it outside of combat, and it does what it says on the tin. It allows you to speak with animals, and there's a lot of situations you can go through in this game that are really helpful if you just are able to talk to animals, and a lot of interesting dialogue. Starting instrument, I'm going to be going with violin because I like the violin. Backgrounds, it's fairly set for. You can't choose a different background for the Dark Urge. Stats, honestly, like, especially with us not being on a higher difficulty. I feel fine dropping my character's constitution to give them more wisdom. Wisdom can be a very helpful stat. So, we're going to be doing that. Our proficiencies: deception, performance, and persuasion. I think that's pretty much good. It'd be nice to have insight. It'd be nice to have perception. Perception, I believe there's a couple of the origin characters that have that. And it sucks not having insight, but I guess we're gonna have to live with that, because having the option for deception in certain cases is really nice to just avoid conflict. Okay, now we're gonna be doing appearance. Going to be doing non-binary. Yeah, we're going to be watching most of these cutscenes together just for people who haven't. I'll try not to talk through most of these, but this one doesn't. These ones don't have much dialogue, so... So yeah, very intense beginning to this game. Uh, honestly, the changes they made from the beta to the full release for this tutorial area, I'm honestly not a huge fan of. I felt the tutorial was a lot more interesting before. Um, and it felt a lot more organic. Where now it feels very much like very tutorial. Very much it feels like a tutorial. And kind of breaks the immersion.
The blood in your head thrums and pounds. That pounding blood obscures who you are. An overwhelming loss of memory. How you ended up amidst these hellish flames is just as hidden. You have nothing in your skull, besides your name and a headache. But you are in danger.
Alright. I forgot about this cutscene, which is Dirge exclusive.
The dark urge. Whatever that is you. You will claw back the truth. But first, you have to claw your way out of here.
My head.
Yeah. The narrator.
Break.
The narrator in this game is really cool.
Good.
I've heard some of her outtakes, and she seems like a lovely person to be around. Because some of her outtakes just... It's really funny. If you ever get a chance, you should, if you get a chance and find them, they're awesome. Highly recommend.
Open up.
Because they're all posted on, or a bunch of them are posted onto YouTube. So, I'm looking at my sound levels, and I'm going to turn down the master volume a tad more. I think all of those should be good. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully this video is probably going to be segmented up into different sections, just because, like, I'm trying to avoid, like, I'm not sure it's been really visible in the videos I have been uploading. My goal is 20-minute or less videos. I think we all know that has not been happening on my channel. So I'm probably just going to do one big recording session for this, and then record, like, specific outros as I edit them, or as I edit the video into different parts. So yeah, you all get to meet us.
Yes, you've come to save us from this place. From this place you'll free us.
The exposed brain quivers in expectation.
Please. Before they return. They return.
Who am I talking to? A man or a brain?
A newborn. Born new from this husk.
You know no creature like this. One that is more brain than person.
You sound afraid. Why?
So many enemies.
I think you're past the point of saving. Tell me what to do.
Remove us from this body. From this case. Free us. Please.
Let's inspect it first. First roll, first roll of the game. That's a good sign.
You notice edema, a swelling of the brain causing pressure where it strains against the shell of the skull.
Right. That was slightly less good, but you know.
The brain lifts from the skull, but you notice an opportunity. You could cripple the strange creature, making it more subservient, should it prove a threat. Your fingers twitch with the desire to rip its tender, moist meat to shreds.
I have just realized I've had my actual webcam up beside my character this entire time. Editor me is gonna probably have fun covering that up. Yeah, Dark Urge has some interesting dialogue options. This game really does not shy away from being a bit gory and gruesome at times. I can certainly kind of appreciate it, even though that's not normally my forte, but given the plot of this game, I can appreciate that they just leaned into it.
Our freedom is ours, friend.
The creature pauses, listening. Something behind your eyes seizes in recognition.
We must go to the helm. At the helm, we are needed. To the helm we go.
Oh, I forgot I was supposed to be reading my dialogue options. Hey, this is Editor Lulu. This recording session was like 2 hours long, so I can't upload it all at once to YouTube, or I can't really trim it down to a singular video or 2 videos like I did with the Terraria video. So I'm going to be recording all of the outros for the next few episodes. So I just wanted to say thank you all for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you all next time. Bye bye!